So it's widely recognised that prevention is better than cure, and the same holds in governance. As much as possible, we'd like to deal with governance issues proactively rather than reactively when there's a problem. And if I reflect on the hundreds of boards that I've worked with where there have been governance failures, fundamentally they come down to one or more of 5 things: a lack of role clarity, a lack of authority clarity, a lack of good communication, lack of a plan, and a lack of the right culture. So how do we proactively deal with those? Let's go through each of them. First of all, role clarity. It's really important there's a clear board charter setting out the role of the board, and that each director and the chair have a position description which sets out their role and expectations. Of course, the CEO and others in the organisation should also have a clear position description. Secondly, authority clarity, typically set out in a delegation of authority policy, and I've talked about that in another Board Whisperer episode, but I can't stress how important that document is. It sets out what matters the board's reserved for itself and what matters it's delegated to the CEO, and they should be financial and non-financial matters, and it should be a current document. I can guarantee you that that document is so important when there's a problem, and it's never a problem until there's a problem. Thirdly, good communication. Of course, what we want is open, transparent communication and timely communication between management and the board. We also want transparent communication within the board. So what are the protocols for the board to speak to management and vice versa? And that includes ad hoc communication as well as reporting. And what's the protocols for reporting in between meetings from the CEO up to the board? And typically that's through the chair, and it might be through regular meetings. Fourthly, a plan. Every organisation is established for a purpose. It doesn't matter what it is, it's there for a purpose. And the plan is how that purpose is given effect to. The board's ultimately accountable for approving the plan, but the CEO must implement the plan. So having the plan and a performance framework for the CEO that's aligned to delivering on the plan is key. And then lastly, culture. And many of those other things I've already mentioned actually add up to having the right culture to deliver on the plan. But the board again is responsible for making sure that the desired culture is well understood, that it's set out and it's bedded in the organisation, and the CEO must make sure that the organisation performs in accordance with it. So as much as possible, avoiding governance failures can come back to proactively dealing with those 5 things: role clarity, authority clarity, good communication protocols, a clear plan, and the right culture.